Yo, what's going on, guys? GZTV back with another video, and today we are going to be talking about Final Destination 2. Now, I've already done a another review for the first Final Destination movie. Now we are here with the sequel. It's obviously a 5-movie series, or is it more? I don't remember. I think it's just 5 movies. I want to say it's just 5, but let's just go ahead and get into the movie. Um, let's just start talking about it. Okay, so we're gonna get into the plot and the critical reception. You guys know how my review videos go. There's really no changes here, no changes in the schedule and whatnot. I have a weird feeling right now. Hold on one second. I'm gonna add some lighting to the studio. It is what it is. All right. Yo. I just wanted to add a light. Fucking hell! Why is this always getting caught? I'm always catching my chair onto the fucking thing. Sorry, that took way too much time. Alright, let's get into the plot. So, in 2001, 1 year after the explosion of Flight 180, which is what the first movie was really about, so they're picking up right where they left off. This is like literally a direct sequel. You would think with movies like this, it's just remakes after remake, but no, they follow the plot well, which is something I can credit them for. College student Kimberly Corman is heading to Daytona Beach, Florida for spring break with her friends Shayna McClank, Dano Estevez, and Frankie Whitman. So, yeah, spring break, of course, as college kids, it's like a big thing, of course. I don't do it personally, but I see the enjoyment, I guess. While waiting on the entrance ramp to U.S. Route 23, she has a premonition of a deadly pileup caused by a logging truck. Again, kind of like who is it? Alex? Is that his name? From the first movie? Yeah, it was Alex. That was the main character. It's been a decent minute since I've seen that first one. It might have been like a couple of months, actually. I don't remember exactly when I watched that first movie, but yeah. She stalls her car on the entrance ramp, preventing several people from entering the highway, including lottery winner Evan Lewis, mother Nora Carpenter, and 15-year-old son Tim, businesswoman Kat Jennings, stoner Rory Peters, pregnant Isabella Hudson, high school teacher Eugene Dix, and Deputy Marshal Thomas Burke. While Burke questions Kimberly, the pileup occurs, but Shayna, Dano, and Frankie are killed by a car carrier after Burke saves Kimberly at the last second. So her friend still dies, so obviously she's really guilty about the events that took place, but she saved herself and plenty of other people. And yeah, if you know how Final Destination movie goes, those people are going to be going through a lot of shit in this movie. And I mean, honestly, the stories of this film, like the concept's great, but the story itself is pretty weak. You really just watch this movie for the unpredictability of who's gonna die next. You kind of know when someone's gonna die, but at the same time, how are they going to die? It's really cool to see it. I mean, this movie has some of the most innovative, creative kills, like resourceful of the scene, environment, the production. It's really cool. I mean, this movie has an art to it. Of course, that's why it's such a successful franchise. But yeah, obviously, I feel like it can get repetitive. I mean, I'm not sure why they made 5 movies. Maybe 3 would have been alright. But, yeah. After the survivors are questioned at the police station, Evan is fatally impaled by a fire escape ladder while attempting to escape from a fire in his apartment. So he's kind of like laying on the pavement. He's like getting out of a fire in his department. And like the fucking exit ladder, the ladders that like it got stuck. So he like fell off the building and it finally got unstuck and he was laying there and one of the legs like went straight through his eye and like crushed him. It was fucking nasty. And would that happen in real life? I don't know. Maybe this movie dramatizes shit a little bit for deaths, for the kills. But yeah. Evan is aware of Death's presence, Kimberly seeks help from Clear Rivers, obviously one of the main characters from the first movie, the last survivor of Flight 180 who committed herself to a psychiatric ward for protection after Alex Browning was killed by a falling brick. Now, I don't think we saw that in the first movie, but it's been announced that the main character Alex won't be in this movie, which kind of sucks, honestly. I think it would have been cool if Clear Rivers and Alex made like a reunion. They played really well together within the first movie, but it is what it is. When Kimberly informs Clear that Evan was the first of the highway survivors to die, unlike in her premonition, Clear realizes that the deaths are dying in reverse order, and fuck, maybe the next movie they're gonna be dying in like sideways order, like the middle guy dies and this guy dies and this guy boom boom. I don't know. There's only so much this movie can really do with this concept, with the direction they're going in. It's still a really good series, but yeah. Meanwhile, Tim is crushed by a window pane after leaving the dentist with his mother. So he's like going out, he gets distracted by these pigeons, which obviously the tool of the literary tool, device, whatever you want to call it, of foreshadowing is utilized very much in this movie because that is a big part of the movie. That's a pretty big part of this movie. So, yeah, I don't really, yeah. And like they're like putting a window pane on like a building. He's like at the dentist office, and it like drops and like fucking kills him. Would that have? Probably would have. Yeah, that would have killed him. Clear decides to help and introduce Kimberly and Burke to William Bloodworth, who tells them that only new life can defeat death. He's like the mortician. He kind of was in. I think he was in the first movie. Believing that the birth of Isabella's baby would disrupt Death's plan, Burke sends fellow Marshal Steve Adams to take her into custody while he gathers the other survivors in his apartment so she can like have her baby. They can try to force it out. I don't know. It's fucking weird. And the baby can't die, of course, so. But when Nora decides to leave, a chain of accidents results in her head becoming trapped in an elevator, decapitating her. It's kind of fucking gross because the elevator keeps going like up and down with her head like sandwiched between two elevator doors, and then the ceiling of the elevator and the floor. Oh man, ugh. Fucking gross. She's just getting her head banged up and down on the fucking elevator. The survivors take Kate's SUV to track down Isabella, who has gone into labor, prompting Adams to rush her to the hospital. He can't just let her sit there and have labor in a fucking jail cell. He's a better man than that. He's got to take her to the hospital. Along the way, the survivors realize that the demises of the Flight 180 survivors affected all their lives, even before the highway pilot, by saving them from prior deaths, which inverted the sequence of the concurring accident. Which is fucking crazy. Obviously, all these like coincidences. Obviously, Death has like a plan here with this movie, and that's kind of like the whole concept. Yeah. The SUV then suffers a blowout, causing them to swerve into a stack of PVC pipes in a farm that penetrate the car and injure Eugene. So Eugene is badly hurt. We're not sure if he's gonna die yet. He has to be like rushed in an ambulance to a hospital. Yeah. Rescue workers arrive and assist the farm owners, the Gibbons family, with rescuing the others while Eugene is hospitalized. Yeah. Using the jaws of life. What the hell is that? It's like the thing where you like, it's like the thing where you like pump the hydraulics and it like bursts the car door open. It's how you get into like houses that are locked in a house fire and shit like that. Oh, this was like one of the best kills of the movie. Oh my god, how unfortunate is this? He uses the jaw of life, catch rescuer, accidentally activates her airbag. Airbag, smacks her head, she falls back into the headrest. Well, if you guys, you see it, like the PVC pipes, like, fucking, like, penetrated her car, and there's, like, a perfect, like, little shard with a sharp edge on it. And causes her head to be impaled on a pipe protruding from her headrest. One of the best kills in the movie. Her cigarette falls into a gasoline leak from a news van that explodes, launching a barbed wire fence into the air that dismembers Rory. Although this kill is very, very creative, it's fucking weird. Like, the way they edited this, it was so weird. It looked like a fucking cartoon, the way his body just, like, slid off of one another, like the fractions of his body that got cut apart. It was a cool kill, though. I like the idea of it. Guided by a vision of a doctor named Kalarjian, who Kimberly believes will euthanize Isabella, she, Clear, and Burke rush to a hospital to save her, but while Isabella and her baby are safe, Kimberly sees through a premonition that Isabella was never meant to die in the pileup at all. Like, she wasn't going to be the victim. Like, the pileup sort of happened with her in her car, but she wasn't supposed to be the one that died. At the same time, an explosion from an oxygen leak in Eugene's ward kills both Clear and Eugene. Unfortunate. Which sucks. Obviously, Clear was a really big character in Final Destination, but I guess she had to go eventually. I don't. I mean, I'm kind of curious to watch the next three movies because I'm curious to see where this franchise goes. I think the first two movies are great. I'm not saying this movie's trash. It's just I feel like if I watch another one of these movies, I'm gonna be like, okay. I mean, the kills in Final Destination 2 are probably better than the ones in the first one. Although it's just really cool. It's kind of like a fucking thousand ways to die type of thing. I don't know. Kimberly realizes that the vision from the hospital was hers, deducing from an article of a survivor creating new life to defeat death. Like, she realizes that she kind of has to die, you know. To ensure Burke's safety, she drives into a lake to drown herself, but Burke saves her, and she is revived by Dr. Kalarjian. Wow, what irony in that. That's awesome, obviously. The doctor that was supposed to kill the baby ends up rescuing her, so. And she's kind of symbolized as the baby because it's like a new life type of thing. So later, Kimberly and Burke have a picnic with the Gibbons and Kimberly's father. Kind of repetitive how this series goes so far. They have like this ending scene where all the survivors are like eating dinner, or like sitting at a table talking and like reflecting on what happens. The Gibbons explain that their son Brian was nearly hit by a news van on the day of the accident, but Rory saved him. So if you dodge death once, you can't really dodge death again. This last death was just kind of stupid and redundant. I don't think we really needed this in the movie, but it is what it is. So, as Kimberly and Burke realize the implications, Brian is suddenly killed in an explosion caused by a malfunctioning barbecue grill. Like, what the hell are the chances of that? This movie does have some, like, unrealistic shit, but, yeah. Let's talk about the critical response. There's, like, the fictional pileup, the sequence. The fictional pileup along Route 23 on May 13, 2001 was regarded as the greatest car crash scene in movie history and was nominated with an MTV Movie Award for Best Action Sequence in 2003. I'm not even sure. I didn't even think that was a thing. A Best Action Sequence? That's a cool award. 48% on Rotten Tomatoes, 111 reviews. 5 out of 10. How the hell is this a movie at 5 out of 10? This is at least a 7. I think the original movie a lot of the time is the best movie in a franchise, but because I mean, there's a lot of expectation. Like the second movie has to be better, or else it's gonna be seen as just like so inferior. I don't know, man. This sequel is a little more than an excuse to stage elaborate, gory scenes of characters getting killed off, which is the beauty of the series. I mean, there's not really supposed to be a story in this show. Maybe it would be a better series if there was a story, a little bit more of one, but yeah, I got a 3.8 out of 10 on fucking Metacritic, 25. Generally unfavorable. People didn't like this, I guess. Yeah, Metacritic said this was the 15 movies that the critics got wrong. Dude, I think so. The elaborate suspense action set pieces from the first two films are more impressive than most, of course. B+ on Cinema Score. The plot, the acting, the screenplay were all things that kind of got a knock from people. Perhaps movies are like history and repeat themselves, first as tragedy, then as farce. The movie mandates complete gullibility and vacuous attention in order to work on any level. There is an audience for a movie in which innocent people suffer hideous accidental deaths is troubling enough, but a group of creative people chose to direct their energies on this repulsive spectacle which simply provokes disgust. Dude, don't watch gore movies then. Like, if it's not for you, just fucking say that. It's alright, dude. I don't know. This risible thriller is merely a sadistic series of misread premonitions of vile murders. They're not murders or literally accidental deaths. I don't know. I wasn't much scared by anything in Final Destination 2, which is silly and illogical. Why would you be fucking scared of this movie? It's a thriller. I don't know if you know what a fucking thriller is. I don't know if you know your genre is. A thriller is not supposed to be like a horror movie. This isn't really a horror movie. It's just kind of like a conceptual thriller, you know? Not even get into an awful script or the numbingly awful performances. Everything else about the film is also deadly. The comedic theme, I don't think it's that funny. It is kind of funny, but I wouldn't look at it as that. It's not as cheekily known as the Scream movies or as thrashily grand guignol as the Evil Dead franchise, but like those pictures, it recognizes the close relationship between fright and laughter and dispenses both with a free, unpretentious hand. It's funnier than the original. which is cool. I guess there needs to be a little comedy. The deaths look kind of comical. It looks kind of satirical. If this is your idea of fun, step right up. It's a series of grand Goofball skits played for mean-spirited laughs. I like how it's surprisingly good fun for the current crop of horror films, reasonably well plotted and full of jaw-dropping white-knuckle scares. That said, it's most definitely not for the squeamish nor the easily offended. You could say that about the first one as well. It's simple but effective. What Final Destination did for the fear of flying, Final Destination 2 does for the fear of driving. So, yeah, that is true. That's a cool way to look at it. Carson, Cherry, Cook, Landis, Larder, and Todd were prominent amidst the analysts for their performances as Eugene, Rory, Kimberly, Thomas, Clear, and Bloodworth. I knew that was Tony Todd. I knew it. I just wasn't sure. I kind of knew it, but I was like, okay, I need confirmation that this is Tony Todd because he sounded like him. I was like, oh, that is Tony Todd. Carson, the skeptical Eugene, energizes what had been a rote conception on the page. Cherry offered some dry comic balance. Larder was casted little light. Todd was squandered by a single, distinctly flat scene, and the generally awful theft being led by Cook, whose blurry grasp of emotions betrays Ellis's apparent disinterest as actors. Cook uttering, she's no great actress, but she's a real looker. And since when did a horror movie suffer from having two dumb blondes as leads? Wow. Okay. How is Larder a dumb blonde? Spends a whole movie looking miserable with her frigid acting. Wow, Jesus Christ. Cook is serviceable as the premonition-fueled Kimberly, but doesn't evoke enough emotion in the scenes following the brutal death of her close friends. That is true. Cook was strident as the catalyst that sparks events with her premonitions of disaster and the fervent desire to cheat the Reaper, whereas Larder was given the smart-ass edge her character needs. Larder is again the bright spot. Cook and Lands were serviceable leads, and Todd's purpose has still yet to be revealed in the franchise. He's definitely going to get more scenes, I guess. This year, he ranked the franchise from films to best. I mean, some people said that this is the best film in the series. It's memorable in the entire horror genre, let alone the franchise. Todd's performance, even though he had one scene. That's how fucking good of an actor Tony Todd is. He had one scene in this movie, and people are praising the fuck out of him for how fucking, like, legendary he is, you know? It's crazy. I don't really have much to say. I'm going to take a little break. I'm fucking exhausted. I got to get into this NBA video, but I will get that out for you guys. Don't you worry. Before I leave for Thanksgiving, I'm going to get all the fucking videos out for you guys.